Yes, people, welcome back to another stream. Hope you all had a good Monday. Welcome to another episode of the Arsenal News Column Show. Before we get into things today, please make sure to smash a like on the stream and do subscribe if you are new. We're 3 subs away from 400 subs. So if we could get to that, it'd be very much appreciated. But we are joined by two very esteemed guests, I like to say, in the Arsenal community, in the Arsenal fan community. And we're going to talk all things Arsenal today, the game on the weekend, and and also some other bits and bobs that's coming up around the times. Now it is January as well. But let's introduce our guest for today. Ladies first, Fran from the channel Golartzo. How you doing, Fran? You all good?
What's up? Yeah, I'm good, thanks. It's been ages since I've been on a panel show. Just been trying to build like my solo stuff. So it's been ages. I'm really excited to catch up with you guys. But if any of my viewers come over from the sharing it, this is tonight's stream now, guys. And look, 3 of you need to subscribe, and we'll get Connor to. Is it 400?
Yeah, 400.
It's going to be 3 of us. So, guys, if you are coming over from my channel, then hit the likes, and this is going to be a really good chat. Thank you very much for having me, Connor, and Jez as well. It's so good to see you. So I'm excited to talk about everything.
Nice one. And Jez, you hate this, but I call you a legend in my eyes. You got me back into this. You're another reason you got me back into this, Jez. You've been saying for a number of times. Yeah, your fault. A number of times you said, Connor, you need to get back into it, and here we are. We're back on it. How you doing, man? And welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel.
I'm good, man. I've been looking forward to this when you sent me, and I'm so glad that you've come back to YouTube. I really do. You've got great content. You speak the facts, and there's no bullshit from you. There's same with Fran. You say it as it is. Young people, and you've got to admire that. And I just hope you continue on. And let's get you up to 500 bloody quick, right? Yeah. So anybody coming over from my channel that hasn't followed Connor or Fran for that matter, smash those subs up and smash the likes up. And it's all good.
Appreciate it, Jez, mate. Just want to quickly point out, if you haven't watched yesterday's show, I done a show yesterday with Michael JC. We done an Everton show. He's an Everton fan and proper Everton fan. Been an Everton fan since he was young. We talked about the FFP breach. It was a really, really good show. So if you haven't checked it out, please do check it out. It's on the playlist as well, the news column shows. So do check it out there. And let's get straight into it. Oh, and also, I've also rebranded. I'm now CMO Sports because I realised that CMO is actually a term in terms of business person. So I thought it would be a bit weird if my initial sounds a bit like that. So I thought I'd put it into sports. So we've had a bit of a rebrand as well. But anyway, let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about, which is I think pretty obvious, the Crystal Palace game, and it was an absolute smashing, completely.
That graphic.
The graphic changes, yeah, and so we're going to talk about that. But also, we've got a return. You two may not know, but whenever we do these kind of shows with panelists, we bring the hot seat, the fire around it. So it's not just me and the big panel. We'll move all you to the big little camera here, and you can all have your opinion there as well. So let's go ladies first. Fran, just overall thoughts. What did you make of the Crystal Palace game? It was an absolute smashing. But what were your thoughts on it as a whole?
As a whole, I think the result perhaps hid a little bit of the issues that we've seen in this team. I was very happy, like I kind of asked for more from the lads, but I'm kind of mixed about it. Like, you can't be unhappy with a 5-0 win, but still in the first half, and particularly the first half, I was seeing very similar kind of issues in terms of the build-up and we didn't get any shots, any goals from open chances for ages. But by the end of it, I was pretty thrilled, and I'm happy with it. But I want to use it as a starting, like a springboard, as a starting point from now, just to keep on improving. By no means is it like we're back now. I did a stream the other day saying like Arsenal are back in the title race, and it was a bit tongue in cheek because we're not. We could be.
The clickbait titles, you love it. Love the clickbait titles.
I love it. So it's a good start, but keep on pushing on from here.
Good. That's good. Good attitude to have. Jez, what were your thoughts, man? I saw your match reaction with Lee anyway, but what was your thoughts on it? Because it was still, even though it wasn't the best of performances overall, it was a really poor Palace team. 5-0, you still don't see that every day. And the thing I want to take out of it is I want to actually carry this on now against Forest, because last time when we smashed Sheffield 5-0, we lost 2 on the bounce afterwards, and I don't want that to happen again. What were your thoughts overall on against Crystal Palace?
Yeah, I mean, it's 5-0. We don't get that every week at the Emirates, and I'll take it. 3 points, I'll take it. I'll take the win. A lot of people quoted one of my old sayings is sometimes you have to win ugly. Well, that wasn't winning ugly. That was winning against a very, very poor Palace team. Very poor.
Yeah.
But it showed that we are not the finished article. We lacked intensity from midfield. Our midfield was awful. I'm sorry. Odegaard, Rice and Havertz were really poor, really poor. And Saka, that guy is regressed. He really is not the player he was this time last season. Certainly not. That concerns me. As you've just said, we win 5-0 against Sheffield United. We go on to lose 2 games.
Yeah.
Right? We've now just beaten Palace, a poor Palace team, very poor. At least Sheffield United showed some intensity. Yeah. But we're up against Forest, Liverpool, West Ham, next 3 league games. That's not easy stuff. We got Forest away. We haven't got a great record at the City Ground. We've got Liverpool at home. Well, we know always what can happen there. And then we go down to the London Stadium, West Ham. I mean, I just don't think this is a happy ship right now, mate. Honestly, I think there's a lot of things going on behind the background. It's not good. And I'm concerned because I have not yet seen one player, that has come to Arsenal and it has actually improved. I mean, I hear today, apparently Arteta's come out and said Rice was substituted because he felt a twinge.
Yeah.
West Ham, never injured. Arsenal, twice.
Yeah.
Can't make it up, can you?
Exactly. And we got a new doctor in as well. They brought in a new doctor, and it seems we've had the same problems. We got rid of Gary O'Driscoll to Man United. We brought in someone new, and all of a sudden we've got injuries all over again. But it looks, I've seen reports, it looks like he's going to be all right for Nottingham Forest. But still, it's a worry, because coming down towards the end of the season with people wanting to challenge in the Champions League, if we've got a worry that Declan Rice is not going to be fully fit, we've also got injury-prone Thomas Partey, back to the likes of Jorginho. Even though Jorginho made a fantastic assist on the weekend, it is still worrying. But that's definitely a thing to point out. I mean, one thing you've really got to take out of it is, I mean, first and foremost, Gabriel was fantastic. We always point out that, Gabriel normally has a bit of like the bozo gene. When we sort of compare him and Saliba, they sort of like go back and forth, and we say, Gabriel's got a bit more of a mess in his. But listen, I want to say one quick thing. I did slate the Dubai trip in the sense of they literally brought the whole family and stuff. And I thought, you go into hot conditions when you're coming back to cold. Surely you're going to get a couple of the players ill by doing that. You're sort of rewarding failure. I was on that sort of side. But I'm not going to lie. That's what I was expecting. If we were going to go on that, do that in Dubai, I was coming back and expecting something big. And we've done that. And one thing I do want to point out is I always criticize our set pieces, especially corners. And by God, we have improved them massively. We were clearly working on them. And Declan Rice has to be taking corners on the right hand, on the right foot, 100%. Because that was a great corner from him when we got. Was it the first? I think it was the first goal, wasn't it? It was a great. It was a great goal, and it was a great assist as well. So that's one thing I'm really happy with. Fran, did you see anything else positive that you took out of that Dubai trip? Even though it was a 5-0 win, did you see anything else that you saw that maybe looked a bit different from Arsenal? I thought the pressing looked a bit good as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's only small, but
yeah, for sure.
Really, like little things that I was happy with was, first of all, seeing Trossard actually start and get some decent minutes. And I know, again, it's only marginal, but I was seeing changes happen earlier on in the match, and all 5 substitutes were used. Still, I'd like to see more rotation, but thankfully, that's something I've been really, really calling for. It seems like when Arteta gets stressed, my theory is that the more he gets under the pressure, the more he relies on that starting 11 and doesn't want to change them at all. Whereas that'll only hurt him in the end, obviously by causing injuries and meaning that there's more of a drop off from the starting 11 to those more like rotational players. So hopefully he can continue to do that even when there is pressure. You've got to keep rotating the squad so that there isn't so much of that drop off. And I was happy to see a bit more of that than what we were seeing in all that chaotic state before the winter break. So keep up the rotation, Arteta. But I always say this, and then it just ends up like getting lower and lower. There's less and less rotation. So that was something I did see, though. What about you? Any other?
Well, I was actually going to throw back to you. Well, for me personally, I listen. When I saw it, like I said, I wasn't happy with it. When I thought, Dubai really have all the places, and we've only won 1 out of 8 or 1 out of 7. Is that really what you want to be doing, treating the players like that in a sense of that they've done something? But it clearly worked in a sense. But I want to see it work. Let's see, I'm not going to base it just off one game. I want it to be multiple games. I want it to be consistent. That's the question I was going to throw to both you and Jez. I'll go to you first, Fran. Do you believe? Go on, go for it. No, you go for it. Go for it.
Oh no, I was just going to add about the skepticism around the Dubai trip. I was actually a big I was saying everyone chill. This is a really good idea. But I'm biased because I used to
go for it. Yeah.
I used to do quite high level athletics, and we'd be training all winter, doing laps and laps of the pitch and stuff. And then we ended up going on a warm weather training camp to Tenerife. I know it's weird flex, but it was greatly reduced prices and stuff. And it was so much, mainly a mental and psychological boost. And you felt get away from all the stress, all the cold, and it just did such huge things. It wasn't specifically for the training itself, but just for the mindset. We felt so much more positive. We had a 1-up over everyone, all the other athletic clubs and stuff. So it's for that kind of morale boost. It's a really, really good thing, I think. So I was just going to add to that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Listen, like I said, I wasn't a big fan of it. The fact that we came back and done that, I was all for it. And I thought, you know what? Okay, fair enough. Listen, maybe the steak stuff was a bit too far. That stuff was just, no, don't need to be doing that on camera. I think we all know our feelings on that. But no, listen, we came back and we put in a decent performance. But one thing I will throw to you first, and I'll go to Jez.
Yeah, sorry.
Martinelli, 2 goals. I literally said, I was on a watch along with TJ, and I said, because Trossard obviously played that game, and I said to myself, Trossard got the goal. He did miss a sitter. He should have put 2 in the back of the net. But I said, Martinelli's only got about 10 minutes. I want to see Trossard play against Forest. I don't want to see now Trossard's got a goal. We're now going to drop him because of form. And I said, the only way Martinelli's going to start for me is if he bags 2 goals. Before he actually bagged them, I literally said that. And he went ahead and done it. It looks like he's a bit back on form now. 2 of the same quality goals in literally the space of about 2 minutes. A bit of Henry-esque, the type of goals he scored. Do you reckon he'll carry on this form, Fran?
I hope so. I think for me, what was notable about those goals is that they were done in a counter-attacking style. So Martinelli had the space to sprint and tear on into. When he's trying to run into traffic and is surrounded by people, he seems to just have no ideas. He's just hardwired to get his head down and sprint with the ball.
Yeah.
So the fact that this was a counter-attack and he had all the space to do that, he was in his element, and it was amazing. So I'm just hoping that from that, and it seemed like Arteta was saying this a bit in his press conference, they're going to be a bit more flexible about the way that we attack. It's not all the controlling death by 1,000 passes, but if you want to really make the most of the players that we've got in our team, especially Martinelli, then you want to be making more chances on little mini counter-attacks like that. I don't know how you engineer that as a coach, but it was because he had so much space to run into that he looked so good. I don't think we would see that performance from him if we were playing against 10 men behind the ball type thing. So try and engineer it so he's got that bit more space.
Yeah, and I'm really happy he's come back scoring because he's obviously not been the player that we really had last season. As we saw, it was only 2 goals before that. It was really underwhelming. So and I hope he can really now carry on from this because an on-form I always said, an on-form Martinelli is a dangerous Martinelli. That's the way I always put it. So let's get into the chat quickly. Big up to everyone that's in here. We've got 22 people in here. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you're from my channel and you haven't subscribed to Fran or Jez, their channels are in the description. And also do smash a like on the stream as well. We've got Mama Flossie in here, Drew, Taib, Anthony, AFC Always, Jagan. We've got so many people in there. Philly, Ramen, tons of people. CQ. Oh my God, too many people to name. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Jez, I'll throw you this question before we go to a couple of things in the chat that I've starred. A bit more on the consistency side. Do you believe we can now go ahead in these next 2 games and actually carry on this form? Or do you believe we're going to go back to the old things and, capitulate? What's your opinion on it? I know it's a bit of a guess, but if you had to sort of put your mind to it, what do you really think after you watched that game against Crystal Palace?
Well, I'm not convinced You know, I mean, you asked Fran a great question. You know, we go out to Dubai and the corners have improved. I don't see anything else that's improved.
Mm.
But I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but, you know, it's the Arsenal match day ticket holders that go week in, home and away, paid for that trip. It wasn't the Cronkies.
Yeah.
They're not diving in their pockets and saying, "Yeah, come on, Arteta, we'll pick up all the tabs, go to Salt Bay, we'll pay for that £1,000 steak. Don't you worry about that, fella." Yeah? I'm sorry, you can improve your corner taking at bloody London Colney.
Mm. Yeah,
I'm not convinced, mate. I'm not convinced, and I have great fears in that. You know, yeah, we beat Palace 5-0. Okay, brilliant, love it. I'll take it all day and twice on a Sunday. But the fact remains, our midfield was rubbish. So they had a great time out in Dubai. Fantastic. Took the wives, girlfriends, kids. Lovely. Hope they had a lovely time of it. I didn't see anything come out of it. Yes, it's always family bonding. You know, oh, we need to be a family. Really? Yeah. Totally professional footballers and ruthless.
Yeah.
See any ruthlessness in this team?
You touch upon a really good point where then Arteta talks to them and treats them in press conferences like they're his kids, and it's like reinforcing them and saying like, I love them all so much, and there's no like tough love kind of coaching message going out there.
Yeah.
Do you think they ever get the hairdryer treatment, you know, like Fergie used to? Or does he go in and pat them on the back and say, I love you anyway, guys, like, great job? Sometimes you just need to be yelled at. And that was my little point.
Yeah. I mean, I personally believe, listen, if we go ahead and get more consistent runs against Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, I think it's Liverpool, I can't remember who we got after that. But listen, if we got more consistent runs, I'll be happy. But the thing with Arsenal is I don't want this to be like, right, they got their holiday. Now they're really happy and they want to go and play, and then they're going to give up now next week and next Tuesday. I really don't want that to be the case. I really want Arsenal to show a bit of content, because realistically now all we've got to really hope for now is the Premier League. By God, you know, 5 points behind Liverpool. If we really want to compete for something this year, it's got to be the Prem. You know, they've got themselves kicked out of the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. You know, it's down to them. You know, they've, in a sense, they have let the fans down a bit, because realistically West Ham was really poor performance, and Liverpool, we should have won it, but we couldn't put our chances away. Let's move to the chat quickly, because there are some things I want to get to in the chat. One from Rwanza. He says, "Here, you can only beat what's in front of you. If you can put 5 past a team when you're playing poor, then all you need to do is gain some consistency." I couldn't put it better myself. Completely. You got to keep doing it again. Listen, I'm not asking for 5-0 wins every single game, but I'm going to be honest. And listen, I'm not just saying it because it's my opinion. I'm not just saying this because it's the big score lines. But apart from Palace, Sheffield, and Bournemouth this season, I really haven't been convinced in any other games. Really haven't. Not even against. I mean, Man City, I was a little bit, definitely. I think the first half we definitely took it to them. You know, we really shut off Haaland. That game really stood out to me. But apart from that, no, I haven't really been convinced this season.
Connor, the key word in that guy's statement is consistency.
Yeah.
We're not. We're up and down. We're up and down. It's like a sine wave, you know?
Yeah.
It's the fact that, we peak and then we go down. Then we dribble along, then we peak and then we go down. You don't win big tournaments playing like that. You have to have a proper level. You know, you might get the trough, you know, or here, a lose, but we go up and we go down, we go up and we go down. And sorry, look, you know, I'm going to put it out there. We ain't going to win the Premier League, and we're not going to win the Champions League. It's going to be another boring season, right, with Arteta playing his rubbish football because he's too predictable. Everybody can see it week in, week out. I said this the other day. His substitutions, albeit were a little bit earlier, but they're the same for the same for the same for the same. You know, I
literally said, Jez, when Crystal Palace, it was quite funny, and I was on the watch on with TJ when Palace made their sub. I think they brought in a youngster. I said, right, Arteta's going to bring on his sub now, because Arteta always brings on a sub after the opposition does it. He'll never do it before. He'll never do a half time, even though we were winning the game. I just found it quite funny. I literally said, as soon as Roy Hodgson brought on that first substitution, I said, Mikel's on it now. He's going to bring on a sub now, and he did. But I always find that quite funny that we go into that. I will bring. Yeah, no, yes, the same. Yes, the same.
Trossard for Martinelli. Sorry, round the other way. Martinelli for Trossard, right? Then it's Smith Rowe for Havertz, and then it's Jorginho for Rice, and then it's Nketiah for Jesus, and then it's for Gabriel. Yeah, okay, Gabriel had to go off. He obviously twinged his thigh. I get that. Fair play. That's a sensible thing to do. But it's so boringly predictable. Why not, when you want to mix it up? Why can't he say, right, Saka, I'm going to stick you at 9. Right, I'm going to stick Jesus. You're now going out on the right wing.
Do you know why? I think because he doesn't like not feeling in control. If he does that, he doesn't know how exactly that's going to go. And he likes putting someone in, knowing exactly how they're going to act, what they're going to do, that he's taught them all 47 different combinations in that role.
yeah, supposedly.
You are right. And you've nailed that. Bang on. That's a bang on comment. But I'll tell you for why. Because he doesn't trust his bench.
You know what annoyed me though? This last press conference. So I did a stream yesterday reading out what he said after the performance, and what he said is these players need to know that I trust them and they need to be given the minutes and that I love them all equally. It was something along those lines. And can you tell how angry that? I know how angry that would make you, and I was so angry. So I was saying, well, you can say that, but you're not showing it at all. And you talk about unrest in the dressing room. How unfair is it sometimes? I hear you talk about this all the time, Jez, but how unfair is it for players like Trossard or Reece or what the other one was?
Smith Rowe.
Rowe, obviously, the main one. They're not even given it. They're given 5 or 10 minutes at a time to try and show that they're good enough. When players like Havertz and Nketiah are giving 90 minutes.
Yep.
Not fair sometimes.
And well, listen, it was even a carbon copy of Kieran Tierney last season. You know, Kieran Tierney. Listen, don't get me wrong. Tomiyasu was very good at left back, but we didn't know it at that point. I remember when Zinchenko got injured start of last season, and our only available left back was Tierney, and he didn't even want to play him. And Tomiyasu was an inverted fullback. He's an overlapping, in my opinion. So he didn't even fit the system like Tierney, but he still wouldn't choose Tierney. And I'm seeing reports of when apparently West Ham came in for Smith Rowe. And we declined it because, according to the club, he's too important for us. Well, if he's too important, why are you only playing him for 5 minutes a game? Listen, fair enough, he got, 20-odd minutes the other day? And listen, that's the most minutes he's got all season. But my point still stands. He's not giving him enough time. And this other thing annoyed me, because I do tune into your press conference reactions, Frank, they're really good. And this one comment, which Jill put in earlier, really did annoy me. And it was, the statement from him is, if we thrash Forest after Palace, then I fear the comment from Arteta, we don't need a striker because we can spread the goals. Exactly. Why? And it makes me laugh, right? We don't need a striker, but we beat a team 5-0, and our number 9 had 1 shot on goal all game, and it was off target. But we don't need a striker. Not every game we're going to win 5-0, Mikel. You know, you can't just share around the goals. That's like, so we don't need a clinical number 9 so we can win the league with this team without a clinical number 9. It's not going to happen. I hate these excuses that he makes. Jez, what's your opinion on that? We don't need a striker because we can spread the goals. If you look at how we were last season, we bottled the league. Yes, it was probably down to Saliba not being in there, but also because we didn't have a clinical number 9. And it's now coming down to that this season, and he's coming out with something like that. Personally, it annoys me, and I bet you'd be even more annoyed by that. What's your opinion on that, man?
Well, I think the fact is easy. How many games have we not scored in? Yep. That's not exactly sharing the goals, is it?
Liverpool's a perfect example.
West Ham in Liverpool, right? Yep. Newcastle. We can go on and on. The fact is, this guy is clueless. He plays along for the PR. I mean, I watched Fran's channel when she did the press conference, right? I watched Lee Gunners when he did the press conference. the muppets that get in there and ask him questions, not one question was about the Palace game. Not one. Big game coming up. You just come back from your holidays in Dubai. They're all paid puppets, as Lee, to quote Lee, right?
Yeah.
Quoting Lee. They are, because the club vets all of the questions. Yeah. They won't let anything be said that might upset Arteta or go against the club narrative. And that is the problem. He doesn't get called out. I mean, there should be proper journalists in there, proper real journalists, not these little fake ones that actually think they're journalists. They're not. He would be taken apart because at the end of the day, not enough people question. And as we go on later in the show, I'm going to bring you up a great point. Point is that he should be called out for his mismanagement of the club. I don't call him a manager. He's a coach. He couldn't manage a fart in a paper bag, guy. Seriously. He's not the levels. I've seen enough of it. Right? I'm fed up with this now. Another season. We're not going to win anything. Really. You know, the likes of Tom Canton and all these, they are paid little journos, right, that want to be wannabe journalists, and they're not. They work for dog crap bloody newspapers and all that sort of stuff. No, get some proper people to actually question it, question what is going on at the club. Because I have to say, there is a lot of unrest in this club, in my opinion. I don't think this is a happy family. As you know, that's why we went to Dubai. Maybe that's why we went to Dubai, to try and paper over the cracks, or fill in the cracks. I wouldn't be at all surprised that there's questions going on in that dressing room that are questioning what's going down. Maybe that's why we got Saka not playing very well. That's why Martinelli has regressed. That's why since Declan Rice has come to the club, started brilliant, had a couple of good games. Look at him now. Those players like Smith Rowe, right? They must be so frustrated when you see Kai Havertz, or in my terms, liar Havertz, because he obviously lied that he can play football. The fact ESR must be thinking, what have I done wrong? What have I done wrong that I can't start over him?
Yeah.
Yep. It's Nelson. He must be thinking, what?
Yeah.
Odegaard? I can play there. I'll do a better job. I mean, you can't make it up. I mean, come on. And the thing is, what annoys me, Connor and Fran, the fan base don't question it.
Yeah.
It's the get along. That's all. Oh, that's all be nice. That's all be nice at Emirates. You know, we can't be nasty. Oh, we can't question Arteta, the best looking Spaniard we've ever had. Get on with it, man. This is football.
Yeah.
You know,
completely agree.
Shocking, honestly.
Do you know what? Going on a bit of what you said there, Jez. You know, I don't really get how. Listen, I said this last season was the season where it was the last straw for me. But before we got into the whole title race stuff, and I said, you know what? Right, he has progresses every season, right? I'll give him one more chance, because if you can do it if you can compete in one season, he can do it in the next. Technically, we're still in the race, but again, he's throwing away the cups, and he could be throwing away the league again as well, right? So for me, I don't get it. You see, I do a show every it should be tomorrow, but I do a show with Stefan. He's another Arsenal fan, and you know he's one of those ones who believes that Arteta could be here for the next 5 to 10 years. And I'm like, but how? Because it's a situation where, you know, he's been in nearly, 4 years now? You know, and we haven't won anything. At least when Wenger was here, we were winning the old FA Cup consistently, you know. We were still winning trophies. You know, how long can you go on and say it's still the process? It's not completed yet. There's always something. You know, and then then he gets compared to Klopp. And I saw things recently about how Klopp had the easier team than Arteta. when Arteta had Aubameyang, Lacazette, Ozil. He had Saka coming through. So many good players in that team. And then Klopp was working with Lucas Leiva at right wing, and just all these terrible players. And Skirtle and Saka were coming to the end of their career. And all these comparisons, and it just makes you think, how long can we really give this guy? And listen, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I didn't think he had a bad performance. Listen, I don't think I'm a realist. I call out Arteta when he needs to be called out, and the players. The only two players I really called out on the weekend were Havertz and Odegaard because they were just shocking. I don't get how you can be. It's hilarious. We had a 5-0 performance and we practically, ran that whole game. Havertz had 30 touches that whole game of the ball in a 80, 70-minute performance. 30 touches. Everyone on the pitch had more touches than him. I think even the goalkeeper did. So Havertz goes on these little runs where he does okay, and then he's back on these runs again where he's not doing so great. I will throw you this question though, because I'm curious from you two. We saw Martinelli got his 2 goals. Trossard got a goal. Saka didn't get an assist, unfortunately, because it came off another player and there was no goal for the second goal. But Jesus got 1 shot that game, and it was off target. I think personally, it's time to say either maybe put him on the wing or drop him. For me personally, Fran, I'll go to you first. For Nottingham Forest, will you change the attack? Will you change the lineup? Will you put in Smith Rowe over Havertz? What's your thoughts? Quickly though, we've got 40 people in total inside from everyone's stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you haven't liked the stream on any of ours, do like it and subscribe to not just my channel, Fran and Jez's as well. If you're tuning in from my channel, but Fran, that question: would you change the attack for Nottingham Forest?
I actually liked Trossard starting, but then he wasn't super effective. So it's so hard though because So I'm not starting Havertz. Let's start there. I'm starting ESR over Havertz, then maybe keep Trossard up front. But can I come back on a couple of things that Jez
Go for it.
So first of all, I know I listen a lot to Lee's things and stuff, and I and I hear it about the journos, people like Tom Canton and that kind of thing. But Tom was talking about it, and he was saying I would actually like to go in there and challenge everything that Arteta's done or whatever. Perhaps, but then he says he just wouldn't be allowed back in next week. So can you expect the journos to do that in a sacrificial way? Ask a dumb question, then just not be allowed back in ever again. And I say that to prove the point that I'm not going to attack those guys there, because for me, it's the club for putting that system in place. It all goes back to the club and whoever's running the club for them having this media blackout, where if someone like Tom or Harry was to go in and actually say perhaps something critical, that they just wouldn't be let back in. So I think it's the people above Arteta, the people running the press conferences, Arsenal as a club, running that way, if you know what I mean. But it's
Tom Hampton is a flip-flop.
Huh?
Tom Hampton is a flip-flop, right?
I tried.
The other week, he was on a stream. Yeah, very quickly, fact. Arsenal have got no money. We can't do. He's on a stream. I watched it. Right.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah, you're right about it. Yeah.
We've got no money. Then he puts out that we're in for buying Benzema.
Yeah.
Right, Fran. I think you need to realise these people are in it for themselves. They're in it for them. They're not in. They don't give a toss about the club. Right. All they want. Don't forget, Tom Canton got binned off. Right, and had to go and report on Nottingham Forest.
Yeah. So, no, that was the other one, wasn't it, Jez? That was the other fella that we had, right?
Well, I don't agree with all of Tom.
It might have, I think so. I can't remember. Honestly, I cannot remember his name. But he came back, didn't he? That fellow came back, right? Yeah.
He came back. Football London.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't fall for this. I mean, I hear what you're telling me, Fran, and great respect for you. But the fact is, don't get fallen into the trap.
No, I completely see that all they're doing is pandering and stuff like that. But I think it's the club's fault for not allowing real journalists in. That's kind of
they're not letting them ask the questions they want to ask.
I apologise. It was Chris Wheatley.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. Yeah, Chris Wheatley, that was the one. Yeah.
Second of all, the whole thing about needing a striker, more than anything, I want a striker. But last season, we scored enough goals to win the Prem. Because I've got a little thing real quick. It would just be like the counter argument, I guess. Where's it gone?
Go for it.
So how many goals usually win the league? And I'm starting from 2019-2020 season, where Liverpool scored 85 goals and won the league. And then the next 3 years, 2020 to 2023, Man City scored 83, 99, and then 94. So between 85 and 94 in the last 4 seasons have won the league. And last season we scored 88. So that puts us, and obviously that's more goals than have ever been scored ever by Arsenal, if you know what I mean. But the problem was not that we didn't score enough goals, but that we were letting too many in toward the end of the season. So I think all that really needs to be done was adequately strengthen the defense and just actually maybe get a left 8 box to box midfielder, and things could have carried on as they were. We'd have kept on scoring, but you just messed with it too much, bringing in Havertz and changing the tactics too much, that it's just thrown it all completely off course again. But yeah, that was just my little counter argument. I'll let you get back on points.
Yeah, no, I mean the only reason I was really calling, especially for it last season, that's a great point you brought up. Great point. We've scored the amount of goals to win the league. The problem was for me, my counter to that, we didn't score them at the right time. We scored the amount, but when it really mattered and we needed that moment from that striker.
Yeah.
And listen.
So
The argument to that, you can pick and choose. If we maybe had an Ivan Toney, maybe he wouldn't have scored that chance. But I trust most strikers more than Eddie and Nketiah at the time.
Yeah.
And not just Eddie, there's other players as well. But there's times where I'm like, if we had that, maybe that player.
The thing about the good strikers though, and the good players like Ivan Toney, I know KDB is not a striker, is that in the big matches where all eyes are on them, they're more than likely to actually step up and deliver. Ivan Toney coming back and scoring, becoming man of the match within 20 minutes of his 8-match ban. Whereas I don't trust in the big games that a lot of our team are going to stand up and be counted for.
Yeah, no, 100%. We'll move on because we'll probably go for about another 20 minutes. I know Fran has to shoot off at the hour mark.
I don't want to be in the box.
But yeah, you can stay if you want. You can ask this question if you want.
I don't. Oh my God.
No, because I'll throw you this one. It's a good one. Now, listen, it's January. We are now, let me confirm, we are now 22 days into January. And we have heard nothing from anyone. Listen, I know people are throwing out, not many clubs are doing business, fair enough, but you don't have to copy every club. Clubs can do business if they want to. They can choose to do business if they want to. If we really want to throw the Tottenham one, Tottenham have bought 2 players. Yes, Werner's not great. Draghi's in a youngster, he's just coming through, but it's still 2 players. I wouldn't mind 2 players at Arsenal, So, Fran, 1, do you believe we'll sign anyone this January? And 2, if we were to, where would you improve? That's what
I don't think we're signing anyone because, since about a month ago, all we've been hearing in press conferences from Arteta is him saying "Oh, it's looking really unlikely. I love the squad that we've got. It's very difficult for us to sign someone," but just PR stuff that is basically saying we're not going to sign anyone.
That's one quick thing. One quick point in there. I hate that even when a signing's practically guaranteed. I hate that. Not just Arteta. Every manager's got to be like, "Oh, we'll wait and see." Oh, I haven't heard about that one. Why do they always have to be so discreet about transfers? I don't get that. That's one thing that really annoys me with transfers. Transfers is one of the most important things, especially in the summer and January. And we practically won the race for Declan Rice. And even in press conferences, Arteta was still like, "Oh, we don't know. Maybe it might happen. Oh, I haven't really heard about this." Can you just maybe be honest?
Yeah. My only theory is that maybe they're working with other clubs on transfers and don't want to show their cards that
maybe
if the other club knows that they're going to go and buy Declan Rice, then it's oh, screw our deal with you then, go away type what was I going to say? Do I think basically no, the main problem for me is I really want to bring someone in because I was doing the argument about goals by committee type thing, but in reality I think that's rubbish really. And you do need someone that can actually score goals in the right moments in the big games, whatever. However, I've actually forgotten your question, but I'm just going to go on my little rant.
Do you reckon we'll sign anyone? If so, where would you improve?
Okay. No, I think I would want to get a backup for Saka, although that's not a priority because Nelson can play there. So for me, it would be a goal scorer. and really like my nan with some football boots on is probably more accurate than Jesus and might actually try and score a goal. So he doesn't even try. Like he just anyway. But the problem is FFP and all that stuff. We need to sell some players, which it's too late now. Well, something could still maybe be done, but we could have sold 1 or 2 players, bought in 40 or 50 million quid. That's not asking for too much. Then you can bring in a player like James Maddison cost 45, I think it was in the summer. So what I've been calling for since the beginning of this window is I want to see links to our players going and being sold elsewhere. Like Nketiah, Palace were desperate for him, things like that.
Yeah.
And they're just unwilling to let these players go. And therefore we have no money and we're not going to bring anyone else in. And it's a real shame because I think that's going to cost us potentially powering on and actually making a real title challenge. I genuinely think we'll finish 3rd. So
is that your prediction for this season? Do you reckon we'll progress in the Champions League as well? Do you reckon that will? Do you believe we'll even beat Porto? Because Porto, I'm not writing. There's a lot of people are writing off Porto. People wrote off Sporting, and we still lost to them. You know, that's I especially in Europe because I know Arsenal. I do not write off anyone in Europe for Arsenal. What do you think?
Well, I've been saying that I'll be happy if we get to the semis, so I do expect.
Okay, that's fair enough.
To keep going, not happy, but that's kind of acceptable. And it depends who we're playing in the semis and stuff. And then winning the league was kind of my aim. So it's all over the place at the moment. But anyway, get me out of this box. Give Jez a go.
I'll give Jez a go. Jez, same question to you. I mean, listen, the only way I could probably see Arsenal doing business is if it's Arsenal on the last day, lastminute.com of Arsenal, panic buys, probably someone on loan. Do you see we could bring in anyone this? I mean, I think a striker's out the window now, but do you see if we could bring anyone in? And if you could yourself, where would you improve?
I don't think we're going to bring anybody in of any quality. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we bring in some young Brazilian kid that nobody's ever heard of, stick him out on loan, like we've done. You know, the typical Edu deals that he likes to do. I'm certainly convinced we're not going to get Toney in this window.
No way.
We're going to hang on to him. He said he wants to repay them for showing him loyalty. I get that, and I respect him for that. Okay, that's fair play. You know, you have to give the man some credence for that. No, I can't see anybody of any levels coming on. Where would I like to improve? Of course, a striker. Absolutely. Yep. We haven't got one, and we need one, but we're not going to get one in this window. I'd like to see an improvement in the midfield. I don't know what's happened to Partey. I keep hearing different stories. You know, when he was linking up, excuse me, with Declan Rice, they looked a good pairing. Since he's been out and gone, I don't know what's happened with him. Is this another situation with Arteta where he's fallen out of another player and he'll be out the door in the summer? I wouldn't be at all surprised. And this is my concern, Fran and Connor, that Arteta is so arrogant that anybody that doesn't agree with his styles or what he's trying to achieve, you're out the door. He did it to Kieran Tierney, probably the best left back at the time in the Premier League, in my opinion. Right? Something happened. He didn't like it. Maybe it was that Kieran Tierney didn't want to play inverted because, you know, Arteta likes to try and copy what Guardiola does. Sorry, man. Sorry, you're not his levels. Yeah, don't try and copy a manager that has got years more experience than you. And the fact is, his depth of knowledge will take him to bigger and better places, and he's got a better team. Because Arteta, you have to question yourself. You bought some crap, and everybody talks about, oh well, he had to take over the crap that he was left with. Yeah, a team that Emery got to a cup final, the Europa League final. Emery got them there with that crap. What does that tell you? Yeah. Aubameyang, decent striker, fallout, out the door, gone. Look at him now. When he left Arsenal, right? He was scoring goals. Came to Chelsea, didn't work. Fair play. Left, gone out, scoring goals. Okay. I mean, you have to. You can't. It comes a point in time where you have to say, I question what's going on. Where is all this support for this manager coming from? I don't understand it. I really don't get it, because I just want to bring this point up. Or if you want me to shut up,
No, go for it. Go for it.
Please.
Right. This is the Arsenal love, right? This is the Arsenal love. We are told, Lee, Kenny, me, you'll probably get it at some point, Connor, as your channel builds up, that you're not real fans. You know, oh, you got to support this, you got to do this, you got to do that. Well, no, I will say what I want to say, and if you don't like it, tough, because all these people that say, well, you know, it's match day fans, this, that, and the other. Yeah, okay. You tell me then, right, with 2 minutes to go, 8 minutes of extra time, 10 minutes of extra time coming in, damn near 40% of the East stands walking out. And that's the ones you can see on camera. You can't see the ones in the West stand.
Yep.
It's a 12:30 kickoff. 12:30.
Yep.
So you've got no worries about transportation. You can't tell me that all those people walking out are driven to the ground. No. Where are you going? Why? Why are you not there with a 5-0 win that you don't see very often, right? It's not week in, week out. Why are you not there applauding the team like I'm supposed to be doing it week in, week out? I'm not allowed to be critical of Arteta. I'm not allowed to be critical of Saka when he has a crap game, because I get called out for it. I get the hate for it. I get it in my chat. I get it in my comments, right, on my channel. Yeah, I'm a realist. Yeah, I've seen Arsenal at greatness. I've seen Arsenal even worse than this, when we nearly got relegated in '74. Okay, last game of the season, we got a draw to keep us out of relegation. Fact of facts. If you are these people that want to go on YouTube and shout out and call out other people, right, who are real proper fans, don't sit there and comment and then walk out, yeah, before the end of the game. Oh, and by the way, you missed 2 goals. Happy days. Well done.
Yeah.
You've just spent $3.5 grand minimum on your season ticket, right? Travelling to the ground ain't cheap from wherever you're coming from, yeah? And you walk out and it's 12:30 kickoff. Well, where are you going then, boys? You're going down to see if you can get onto AFTV? Is that what it's all about now? Yeah? Oh, yeah, let's go have an interview with that clown, Uncle Fester, you know, and all that bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right, Liz.
Make it up, Fran. The fact is, if you're a proper fan, when I used to go home and away, I never used to want to get out early because I didn't want the crush. I'd rather sit there, right, and have a chat to a few people and think, right, okay, I've been here 20 minutes. Most people are half an hour. Or I'd go into the concourse at the Emirates and say, I'll have another pint then before I go.
Yeah.
When I very rarely get to go to the Emirates, because it's like a potluck to get to the Emirates nowadays. If you want to go as an average day fan and not a season ticket holder, I'm always there, and not just because I have to be out of choice. I'm there to the last minute because I don't get to experience that, you know. And some people are very lucky and they get to experience it all the time. And it does annoy me because then we get laughed at from our rival fans. Your fans are leaving early.
It's embarrassing.
You know, what are they catching? Listen. I get if it's a special situation, you know, I get that.
You, mate. The Palace fans didn't walk out, and they've just been absolutely battered 5-0.
Yeah, they stayed and made a stand, didn't they?
And made a protest. Sorry to interrupt you, my friend.
No worries. You're absolutely right, Jez. You know, it does annoy me because it makes me think, well, what's the point of going to the game if you're going to leave? Like, even I see people literally about half of the East stand in 40 minutes. And listen, we didn't score a goal, I get that, but it was 40 minutes into the Palace game, and half of the East stand was gone. They're already inside. And I'm like, What's this all about? You've got 15 minutes. Listen, I get there might be queues for stuff, and I get that people want to get there first. But half of the East stand was already gone. Probably even more than that. You could see the cannon in the seats.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. You know, so no, I completely get you, Jez. It annoys me.
And you're not seeing the West stand.
Exactly. Even worse.
You can't see what's going on behind you, right? And I'm thinking, why? You spent a fortune on your season tickets. The East stand is where Kenny is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I spoke to Kenny. I said, what's going down? And he said, they're all going. You can ask Kenny himself. Ask him why. What's happening? What's going down? Sorry, Fran.
No, Fran, what are you saying?
No, I don't get it. But for me, it's just a weird one. Like, I don't want to sound. I'm only 26, right? And this makes me sound like proper, like a granny or something. But like, it's really rude to leave before something's finished. Like, are these people going to the theatre and leaving like 5 minutes before the play has finished and don't get a chance to like applaud the actors? Do they go to like a presentation or a TED talk and leave before the end to beat the rush? Like, it's in my generation, like, it's not on. It's so weird. It's embarrassing as well. It's so embarrassing. Like, when we're sat at home watching, and I would do anything to be able to get to the Emirates. I'm like we're number 80,000 in the queue for a season ticket. Like,
ridiculous.
We can sometimes go, like, if Alex's mate like can't make it, then he's a season ticket holder. But and then to leave 5 minutes early just to go and stand elsewhere, like while you're in the queue for the tube, it's madness. If you've got somewhere else to be after the match, then like perhaps don't book something for the afternoon of like after you've gone to go to the Arsenal. Allow time to leave, and like if there is queues, like, and enjoy the experience, soak it up. You know, you really hit the nail on the head there. It's really winds me up.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think it's been something that's going on for ages as well, to be fair. You know, this is something that's not been a casual. It has been a casual thing. It's not been like a thing that's just very rare when this happens.
Ooh,
but we'll quickly end it on this last thing. Bit of listen.
Check the chat corner. Sorry.
Wait, what? Oh yeah, 400 subs. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. We're finally at 400 subs. We're on the road to 500. So if we can get on the way there, I really appreciate it. Thank you for. Listen, I only started this channel up about 2 weeks ago, and I've already had about 60 subs since then. So the support's mental. So thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. And but last thing, listen, I know the game's in 8 days. We've got a long time to wait because of the cup, but might as well just get it. Final question. I'll go with Fran first. What's your predicted team that you want for Forest?
Right, for Forest, if I had my choice, it would be Rambo in goal, but I just give up at this point. I think he played so well against Liverpool, but it's going to be Rice or whatever. Then just the best available back four that we've got. Zinny is basically the only left back. I know, Jez, you are really not a fan of him, but I mean, who else is going to play there, to be fair? So it would be Zinny, Gabriel, Saliba, White, midfield. Declan Rice, ESR, Odegaard. Up front, Trossard instead of Martinelli again, because I think we're going to be facing a low block, and they won't have much space, which Martinelli loves a bit of space when the game's a bit more messy towards the end of it. So bring Martinelli on again. Keep him hungry, Keep up the competition. That's what I like to see. So Trossard. I don't want Jesus up front, though. Okay, no, scrap that. Martinelli, Trossard, Saka up front. What about you guys?
Yeah, Jez, what about you, mate?
Well, I'm quite happy with Raya. I don't have an opinion between Raya and Ramsdale, personally.
Yeah,
I can't make a distinction. I would go with White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Tomiyasu in defence. Midfield, it's time for a change, people. Havertz off, ESR on. Yeah. Then, if Rice is available, hopefully he will be. I'll stick with him. He's class. He just needs something around him because the guy can't. He's a one-man midfield at the moment. Yeah. Odegaard out, and who would I go with there? Well, I'm going to mix this up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to mix this up. I'm going to stick Jesus there, right? I'm also going to go with a little change up here. I'm going to go with Martinelli playing at 9, centre, striker, Trossard, and I'd put on maybe Reece Nelson. Put Saka on the bench. Mix it up, change it up. Let's see if we can get a tune out of them, right? Yeah. Because it's boring, it's predictable. Nuno Sanchez is going to be looking at this and think, oh yeah, we've got the same old, same old. Time to change. Time to, things in life get stale. It's like anything in life. You have to change things up sometimes. Relationships, you have to move things around. I'm not saying you split up or anything, but sometimes you have to spice it up a little bit. Change things around. And it is that time now, people. If we're going to be serious of going for a Premier League and going for the Champions League, then it's time for a change. But the thing is with Arteta, he sticks to the same old, same old. And you made a comment, Fran, a little while back. You're happy to get to the semi-final. No, I'm not. I'm happy to get to the final, compete. If we lose, we lose. But I don't want to get to a semi-final and get kicked out. That's failure. Getting to a final and giving it the best you can give it. At least you've tried. And you can't knock anybody if you get to a final, you give it your best, but you lose. You've got to take it on the chin. Getting to a semi-final and not getting to the final, to me, is not good enough. If you're in it, you're in it to win it. Simple as.
I agree with that. And I just want to add, like, Jez, it's so good that you're here, like, saying your stuff, like, for a younger fan like me, like, every day I'm always thinking, like, it actually genuinely is making a difference, Jez, because, like, in times where I think, like, I'll think about what you guys would say, like you, Lee, and actually, like, realize that I am, like, dropping my standards a little bit and, like, not to do that. So you are, like, making a difference to all the people you watch. And the more people that think, like, with the higher standards and stuff, the more pressure it'll put on the club, and they'll actually start to act like a winning club. So yeah, that was just a side note. Keep it up.
Jez always keeps it real. Always does.
Fran, I'm not knocking you, right? You're a young lady that's been supporting Arsenal for relatively recent number of years, okay? And I respect you for that. The fact is, I think the modern way, the way younger people look at, how can I put this? The way younger people look at how you play and want to achieve is very different, maybe, from me, because the way I was brought up, and in my time of going to school and whatever, is you fought to win. Yeah, you had to win, and there was nothing else. If you didn't, you were failed. And I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming you. Unfortunately, there's way too many people out there now that influence people to accept not an achievement. I see it with my grandson. He's 9 at his school. He's not influenced to win. And I'll give you a very little quick story, if I may. Go for it, guys. Go for it, mate. 2 years ago, one of his teachers said, "Oh, this teacher is into radio controlled cars." Yeah. So I said, "Oh, right, fair enough." So I bought him one at Christmas. I built it up, painted it, did all that. A proper one. Yeah. He took it along. And across the road from where his school is a skateboard park, right? So he's out there with this, and it's got proper suspension, proper working springs, and I had to build the suspension, everything, right? And I used to have them myself years ago. I was in my 20s, and I built it. And this thing is proper quick, right? And he took it along, and he was winning all the races, and he was jumping jumps and all kinds of stuff. This teacher said to his mother, I don't want James to bring that car anymore because it's not fair, because he wins all the races. Because the other people The other people, bless them, the other parents have bought these cars, which were not in the same level, right? And I'm not knocking them for it. Maybe they couldn't afford it. I don't know. Whatever. They bought these cheaper ones. Couldn't keep up with him. Couldn't do the jumps like he was doing. He's got proper suspension, so he wasn't allowed to take it anymore. I mean, come on. What is that about? If you're better, you win. You know, if you're in Formula One and you're a Ferrari car against, I don't know, Jess's F1 team, yeah, they're going to win. You have to accept that. I mean, this is what I mean. It's just so pathetic, honestly.
That's similar to Man City dominating. Okay, like Man City is Jez's car, like the elite one, and all the other clubs just saying like, oh well, you can't ever compete, you know, like your car's never going to be that good, so you know, just accept you're going to come second. Or saying to Man City or to the league, like it's not fair, like their club's too good. Can you get them to sell De Bruyne? Like they can't bring De Bruyne to school anymore. No, you just got to raise your standards to that level. That sounds like an awesome car.
I know.
For me personally, before we wrap it up, for Nottingham Forest, it's going to be rare for me. Even though, you know, again, I'm not one of those people that does want to see Ramsdale, but you know, let's be real, it's going to be rare. White, Saliba, Gabriel. It's going to be interesting. Someone made a comment earlier. I don't know if I can find it, but Zinchenko will be facing Elanga, and so Zinchenko is not going to have the game where because Zinchenko's best game is where he doesn't have to worry about defending. He's in the midfield. He's chill like Palace. If he could play Palace every week, he would be probably one of the best left backs or one of the best players in the world, because he can do whatever he wants. But as soon as it comes to defending, which he will be doing against Forest, because Forest, even though they're low down the table, they're 17th, they're not to be taken lightly. You know, they've still got a couple of goal scorers, and Elanga is on fire for them right now. So he's going to be up against Elanga, and that'll be tough. But Zinchenko is the only option we got, because Kivior's not a left back. Then it's going to be Rice. Listen, if Havertz isn't working, so I'm going to put Smith Rowe in there. If Odegaard's not working, if you're going to have to say screw it and maybe put, God knows, Nelson in there, or even Jorginho. I know he doesn't offer that much. He did get a great assist against Palace, but if Odegaard's not working, you got to try something, you know. And I like to quickly bring up before we end it. You know, look at Liverpool. They have lost so many of their players over injuries and international. They've got a couple of kids in the team, and they're still top of the league by 5 points, and they've had to rotate.
Is Tommy out in the Asian Cup?
Yeah, he is. He is, Jez. He's out. Yeah, no, he's out in the Asia Cup, unfortunately. So we can't even use him. But yeah, no, he's I don't know why. We do have the players to rotate, and Liverpool can. You know, they don't have a right back. They're using Conor Bradley. He got an assist the other day, and he's only 18, 19. Why don't we use some of our players, eh? But that's the show for today, guys. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Fran and Jez, for coming on. Really appreciate it. We'll definitely have you guys on again, 100%. Couple comments in. Arsenal Maniac put in what were you going to say, Fran? Go on.
I was going to say, you guys can carry on if you want. I think, did Dal try and message you? I don't know. He said, like, Connor in the chat.
Oh, no. I think Dal's still working. But we're going to end it now anyway, because I'm going to need to hop off soon. I'm going to work in the morning. But a few comments. Arsenal Maniac here. Connor could end up with a massive football channel. You just have to play the game right, appeal to the audiences, young, smart, knowledgeable. He got all the raw ingredients, can appeal to the range. Really appreciate that, bro. Listen, this channel, if no one knows, they're tuning in for the first time. This is a channel where it's not just Arsenal, it's every club. It's like, you know, I'm on TJ's channel normally, talking Arsenal was sort of, you know, I'm always giving my opinion on Arsenal. I come on here, I give my opinions on everything. We're running a Tottenham show on Wednesday. We ran an Everton show yesterday. Tons more shows coming up with different fans. There'll be Man United coming up soon. And of course, Arsenal. We'll still talk about Arsenal here, like we are today. So I really appreciate that, bro. And I haven't, you put a comment there as well, Arsenal Maniac. I haven't received 400 subs in 2 weeks. This channel's been around for a long, long time. I was on 350 or 360, but I've brought it back after a year, and I'm now back doing it again. So I've hit these subscribers, and I appreciate all the support. Really, I love it.
My fault. I get blamed by everybody.
Yeah, it's your fault, Jess. I'm here now because of you. It's all because of you, man. But yeah, guys, you two, thank you very much for coming on. You brought great chat today. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. By God, so many people tuning in. The chat was flowing. If you haven't if you're on my side of watching the show, if you haven't subscribed to Fran or Jez, their links are at the top of the description. If you want to go subscribe over to them, they will say what they're coming up now on their channels. But yeah, Fran, thank you for coming on. Golartzo, if you haven't checked out any of our artwork, it is fantastic. It is so good. Yeah, there's some back there. Golartzo.com. Do go check it out. It's so good. Fran, do you want anything coming up on your channel coming up soon?
Yeah, so I'm back on the grind as well, trying to stream daily. So daily streams. My favorite ones are probably the press conference reactions. I just can't even get through them. I just get so annoyed with Mikel. Also like Arsenal art and just Arsenal chat most days. Talk about other clubs some other days, but yeah, trying to do it every day. Road to 1K, and just really enjoyed today. I loved it. I really loved it. Let's definitely do it again. Thank you so much, Connor, and everyone subscribe to Connor and Jez, of course. Jez the legend. So.
Thanks, Fran, for coming on. Definitely, 100%. We'll get you on another time whenever I'm doing an Arsenal show. I'll pop you a message on WhatsApp and we'll get you on again. Jez, the man behind it all. The man behind it all. We're all here because of you, Jez. Thank you so much for coming on, man. You always know you're welcome wherever you go in this community. And got anything coming up on your channel?
I have Wednesday night. I'm doing 6 p.m. I'm doing a show with Lee, Kenny, and Matty. The long-haired Yeti's coming on as referee. We're going to talk about why can't Arsenal win the FA Cup anymore.
Okay.
Very naughty. I love the FA Cup. Brought up with it. Privileged to have gone to 9 of the bloody FA Cups that we've ever been in. Not one of them, but we've won quite a few. But yeah, thanks for having me on, man. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, I'm on the 12-man podcast with Dan Potts.
Nice.
Never been on there before, so that'll be fun. And lots coming up, lots of talk. And I just want to say, Connor, legend, great. I want to see you keep going. Fran, you are wasted. Your artwork, it's out there.
Oh, thank
Absolutely out there.
Arsenal.
I have to say that. Can I throw some darts at the one of Arteta?
Yeah, go on.
But no. Seriously, Fran, no, you're a great host. And the other night, I think you thought I was having a pop at you. I wasn't. I was not having a pop at you at all. I was just putting some comment in there. And I think I put it the wrong way, but never.
I think you like, Fran, answer the question. I did. I love it.
I'm just getting becoming a crusty old man. Don't worry about it. Great content, people, and congratulations, Connor. 404,
403. Yeah, it's mad. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah,
legend.
Cheers. Yeah, so coming up, guys, if you're tuning in to my channel, Wednesday we have Tottenham fans coming on. Believe it or not, shocker, and they'll be talking all the Tottenham news. It's literally, I run these news column shows for different clubs. We've done Arsenal, we've done Everton. We're going to do Spurs. We're going to do Man United. I might try to get Flawless on from Sarcasm City TV to talk Man United with me on here. But yeah, Wednesday we'll have a lot of the boys from Tottenham away. Some other people coming in as well. Tottenham fans talking that. I might be running the Arsenal Frenemy show with Stefan this week, where we have our debates about Arsenal. He's Arteta in, I'm Arteta out. It's a perfect mixture. It's so good, and we have a lot of good chats and arguments. So that's all good. But that's the show for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the likes, and thank you again so much for 400 subs. It means so much, honestly. Road to 500 now, and thank you again, Fran and Jez, for coming on. And we'll see you again for the next stream. Cheers, everyone. Take care and good night.
Arteta